This week in landscaping, it is Monday, August 18th. I'm just going to start by talking the last week of weather. It was a little spotty. We're going to see similar things this week. But you just have, this is Austin in here. This is downtownish. You just had like some rain spotting all the way through southwest Austin, not much at all. Northwest Austin. You got some southeast Austin that got over an inch. It was just like one or two spots that just hit real hard, really fast. And we're going to have storms like that this upcoming week. Maybe. You can never really tell. There's a pretty good chance that we're going to have, not today on Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, little pop-up storms, specifically in the afternoon. So keep an eye on that. But that will keep, Monday's going to be hot. Today's going to be hot. But after today, it'll keep the temperatures a little bit more manageable. And hopefully get some moisture in the air. So that leads me to, let's see, pictures here. I saw this, we'll start here. So I took this picture yesterday while I was driving. That was 3 in the afternoon. And this gas station was rolling these rotors for their irrigation system. And this is not a septic system or something like that. This is up on a hill, so it's not septic. And there's just a couple thoughts here. One, this gas station kind of stinks, and this is a reflection of their general management. But 2, some things to notice here. 1, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You do not run your irrigation system at 3 in the afternoon. The only excuse for running an irrigation system at that time is if you have a very large property, and the only way to get through all of the zones is to use 24 hours a day. Otherwise, this is probably the worst possible time of the day to run your system. So if you're running a system, you're in charge of a system, make sure that you are running it. The best time, hands down, is just first thing, like 2 hours before light, so that it really seeps in and has the coolest part of the day to get settled and the plants to take advantage of it. And it doesn't get evaporated, etc. The next best time is like 10 o'clock at night as the temperatures are dropping. The downside on late night is that you can end up with some fungus issues if it sits wet in the plant life for too long. It doesn't evaporate off like within 12 hours or so. The second thing in this picture is you can see it's got too much pressure. It's throwing up a whole bunch of mist, which means you're really inefficient with the water. So a lot of this water is not reaching the actual plant life. We don't need to overcook this. If you've got an irrigation system, look for overspray, look for time of day, look at the amount of time you're running it, all those things. This leads me to another point, which is stress, good stress and bad stress. And I should have had a picture here. I don't right now, but there is an idea, just like humans, where there's good stress and bad stress. Good stress can push you to growth. Bad stress can cause damage. So when it comes to plants, let's just talk about grass specifically. If you overwater, you water every single day for a couple hours, what you're doing is you're training that grass that there's going to be easy nutrients or water at the top level every day. And so it doesn't grow its roots deep. If you spread out those waterings the appropriate amount, then the grass is trained to stretch its abilities because of the stress that it's under, to extend its roots down deeper into the soil. This makes it more resilient over time, period. It's just better for the grass and for the plant. Same thing happens for all of the different kinds of plants, but obviously they're totally different root structures and timelines and everything. If you overstress it, if you do not water it enough, over time that will weaken the plant. 1, it could kill it. 2, it allows it to be more susceptible to disease and or like weeds. Oftentimes, just like humans, it's not the thing that gets it, the disease or the outside force that ends up hurting the plant, is due to environmental factors that have taken place over time before. So if you haven't been watering near enough and it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, just like you yourself, if you weren't getting enough nutrients and you were getting weaker and weaker and weaker, then you get sick, right? If you don't sleep enough over time, then you catch the cold. Same thing goes for plants. If it's getting weaker because it's not getting enough soil or water or nutrients, then it will get the fungus, then it will allow for weeds, then it will die back, and you'll end up with splotchy spots. So there's a balance here between healthy stress, not healthy stress. Understanding and reading your plants so that you can respond to those things is important. Also, don't water at 3 in the afternoon. One more note here. This guy, if you've been around, you're seeing these cicada sheds, is probably the best way of saying it. I think technically it's a cicada nymph shed. This is the brown, crusty exoskeleton that has been. There's no critter in here. It comes out the back, and if you ever watch these, it is a weird experience. It's like an alien. These things are aliens. I mean, if you ever watch one shed its shell, I've watched it before, and it is crazy. Looks really strange. They come out all kind of soft, and then they unfold their wings and stuff. But so these are cicadas. It's the time of year, maybe a little bit late in the season, to see these come out. Crazy facts about cicadas. One, they're one of the loudest insects in the world. I saw something that said they can reach 100 decibels. That's crazy. We've all heard them. The screeching noise, vibrating noise. Two, the Central Texas cicada is underground for like 2 to 5 years before it comes out, which is so long. That is crazy for a bug. They're down there feeding on roots and moisture and stuff. It's not like the grubs for June bugs where they can actually damage the plants. Most of the time these don't cause any damage. They're deeper and are slowly growing, and then they come up and climb a tree and shed their exoskeleton and fly off and make a bunch of noise, and run into windows and scare us and stuff. Some cicada types can be underground for like 13 to 17 years, and they come out at a routine schedule, and there's like years where there's tons of cicadas. It's crazy. Yeah, these don't hurt. They don't bite. They don't really hurt your trees. They're just loud and crazy, like aliens. So if you're seeing these things around, don't be concerned. Just be interested in the crazy wildlife we have even in our domesticated places. So there's your notes for this week in history. Not history, this week in landscaping. Sorry, me. Silly me. Cheers.